Hey, David here with Guide Recommended. We're going to talk fly line tapers. We're going to talk about those crazy numbers on a fly line as well. This box is these are all just 7-weight fly lines. Over in the shelves behind you is even more fly lines, hundreds and hundreds of fly lines. And we're going to jump into a video on fly lines, talking about tapers, talking about the numbers, talking about weight forward, double taper level, all that good stuff. And as always, I've got a link in the description to an article on my website, so check that out as well. Kind of the order of events. We're going to start at the reel. So first thing on the reel is our backing, okay? Then our fly line in blue, and then a leader, and then tippet. So that's kind of the normal build of a kind of fly rod setup. Again, rod and reel, backing, line, leader. We'll talk about the knots and stuff as we rig up, and tippet. So that's kind of where we're at. So we're going to talk backing, I guess, for a second. Backing, just think of it as a little bit of an insurance policy. Fly lines are about 90 feet long. You can get into some big fish and they can pull out more than 90 feet. So, you know, I sell backing. I know a lot about backing. Just look for a backing that is like a Dacron. It's usually the material to talk about. And we call, you know, backing. 15 pounds to 25 pounds. Really, the number really isn't so important as to have a little bit on your reel. You think about 90 feet of line. Can a fish take out more than that in a current? Yeah, so if you got another 30 feet, that's just like some insurance. Most of your fly fishing that you're going to do, that 90 feet plus your leader and tippet, push out to 100, another 20 yards of backing, put you out 60 more feet, so 160 feet. That's a lot of line. So backing, let me see if I can get this, if you can see this okay. Basically this is a 30-pound backing, 100 yards. I'll use about a quarter of this when we set up our fly rod. So that's backing. Fly lines, oh my gosh, fly lines. So I'm just going to hit it. So for the setup I'm recommending, right? The setup I'm recommending, so that 5-weight rod, 8.5 feet to 9 feet long, medium fast action. Again, I'd lean more towards medium for a beginner, but for that rod, I either go a 5-weight line, which is designed for it, or a 6-weight, a little bit larger. It's not going to be as gentle in a dry fly, but those two lines are going to work. First fly line I would use, look for something less than 50 bucks. I know a person can catch, buy fly line for 20 bucks, Amazon, eBay, whatever. But I know it's out there. I sell thousands of fly lines. So for mine, if you remember, our fly rod we're starting out with is a 5.6, right, 9 foot. And because, like I was saying, I like going a little bit more, I'm going to spin this up. I'm going to use a 6-weight line. So you're going to see some codes on there. WF, weight forward, 6, meaning that weight, F, which is floating. Okay, so let's step through what those codes mean, right? Weight forward. So what that means, typical fly line has got a tip, right? You got a front taper, you've got a belly, rear taper, and then a running line. So this running line, and the line I'm talking about on a weight forward line, this might be 75 feet. All right, this belly area might be 20. Right, front taper another 12 to 8 feet. So weight forward means you're pushing the weight, the density of that fly line towards the front of the line. So weight forward. weight forward. My pen's running out. Is this 5 weight. 5 weight kind of rolls back to an old measurement. It used to be that the front 30 feet of line, because the technology wasn't there to vary these tapers, was measured in grams. Front 30 feet of line, because that's mostly what you cast, was measured in grams, and then that was plugged into these weight designations. So 5 weight really is just, for us, that size, that number, is something to work towards matching to the fly rod, matching to the fly line, matching the fly line, and targeting a fish. So again, that 4 to 6 weight we've talked about over and over, great for everything from panfish to decent trout to smallmouth bass fishing. In that area, you're going to be in pretty good shape. 80% of what you're going to do freshwater fishing. I do mention, or I've got the code down here, DT. So this is what they call double taper. All right, double taper. So if you think about it, weight forward, double taper had this belly. The belly actually going the whole length. So when they say double taper, right, there was a taper in the front, there was a taper in the back, and you could actually flip it around. I only mention that because people still talk about it a little bit, right? If you're doing a lot of roll casting, that might be something. The last line I want to talk about, remember this last designation was for floating, right? Here. They do sell sinking lines, so it would be a weight forward 5 sinking. So that would be where you actually, the line will sink in the water. You can get by, I can go a whole year with never using a sinking line. I have sinking lines. I can go a whole year without using it. So don't think of that as a need. You can always add a little bit of weight to your leader and your fly in order to get a fly down. And then there's also sink tips that you can add to your fly line. Do a lot of the same. So recapping for a second on what I would recommend. Look at getting a fly line, a weight forward, number designation that matches your fly rod, which again goes towards the fish you're going to be chasing. So that 4 to 6 is going to be perfect for most fish. We talked about the letters, weight forward. Why weight forward? It's easy to load when you're casting, versatile, good for dry fly fishing, right? You're usually pretty close. Get that weight forward, be able to cast it out there. You can adapt it to nymph fishing pretty easily, and like we were talking about streamers, which are underwater, you can add a little bit of weight, split shot, some kind of weight to the leader in order to get it down, the fly down, or use a weighted fly itself. Why floating? You can just, it's a good versatile line. 85% of what a person's going to do is to use a floating line. Okay? Please subscribe. I would love it if you do that. I'm going to keep going with this fly fishing stuff, fly tying stuff. Plus, I'm also playing with the idea of doing some rod building. So I've built quite a few fly rods in the past, designed fly rods, sold fly rods, all that good stuff. So subscribe, stay tuned. I got more coming.